Good morning and welcome to the Internship Success Series hosted by the Exorbitant Foundation and co-hosted by the Greater Omaha Chamber. Today we have Rylee Seim with Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce
Yep.
with us to talk about the importance of networking and building relationships during your internship. So we're going to kick it off with the questions. And before we do that, actually, Rylee, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rylee Seim. Like Shauna said, I'm from the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the regional recruitment coordinator there. So I take all of our K through 12 career readiness and exploration programs and take them into about a 5 county region. But then we also have workforce development efforts that we take into the region as well.
Good deal. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Rylee. So when you're brand new to an internship, what's one thing you can do to quickly establish credibility and a strong first impression?
I would say probably the biggest thing for me personally, punctuality. I think just showing up to things on time, and that's not just work. Like if there's ever an event, I know we have plenty of events to attend, just showing up, showing your face, just making sure you're known. But then I would also say be reliable, build reliability as quickly as possible within your internship. It can just make you look really good and it can help you out in the long run.
That's good. I'm gonna back up a little bit here because Merrick, I just assume that everyone's been like with us since the beginning, but let's have you introduce yourself as well.
Yes. I am Merrick Burtek, and I am the Director of Workforce Development at the Greater Omaha Chamber. So I focus in talent attraction, retention, and development for the Greater Omaha area.
Awesome. And I'm Shauna Dorsey. I should tell you guys that too. I work for the Exorbitant Foundation, and we do statewide work on scholarships, internships, not farming, agriculture. We have a great initiative called Growing Together in Northeast Nebraska. And today I'm in Scottsbluff. So the three of us are in three different parts. Well, Riley's in South Dakota today, but we're all over the place. So just anyway, it's cool that you all are here. And thanks again for being flexible with me. Okay, so Rylee, what's a smart way to get the feel for a company culture and start building those relationships with coworkers, supervisors, et cetera?
I would say so, like again, I'm gonna bring this back to my position and my role at the chamber. We have so many different networking events. I think it's really important that you just show your face in as many ways as you can. So, for example, we have our business after hours that's open to the community. It's every month, so I think just being able to show up to these events, bring your business cards if you have them, meet as many people as you can, and just start building those connections right away.
Mhm. That's good. Merrick, do you have any thoughts on that too? Because I know you do a lot with young
Mm.
professionals and, people new to the area.
Yes. I mean, honestly, just asking the questions of the people that are around you. I think that there's nothing wrong with being curious and walking in the door and starting to asking your new coworkers what's the vibe around here? What do we like to
Mhm.
do? Do we like to hang out? Do we what is expected in meetings? I think that those are questions that are fully appropriate to be asking. Um,
Absolutely. I would echo that. I would also say that that really helps build like a confidence as well as a credibility because you're asking the right questions. So I feel like that really shows that you care, just asking those right questions.
Mhm.
yeah.
Good job.
Um, Interns sometimes struggle with speaking up. What's your
Mhm.
advice for communicating confidently in a professional setting, even when you're unsure?
Mhm. I would say this can go back to the beginning of the internship too, just building those connections. I would say if you have a great connection with all of your coworkers right in the beginning, maybe you're not confident to say it in a staff meeting, but maybe you feel more comfortable doing it behind a closed door, and then maybe going to different people to talk about it. But I think if you can build like a strong connection with at least one of your coworkers in the beginning, I think that's really helpful that you have that relationship where you feel comfortable and confident to go talk to that other people. Maybe you think you're doing something right, but you might not be. Just having that person that you work with just have that connection right away, I think that can really help.
Mhm.
Yeah, a thing I would also add, and this is if first, for those that are interns that are on, but then second, I have a nugget for those that are potentially employers that are on. Um, for employers, I'll start there. It's amazing as an employer to set up your intern with some kind of mentor. Give them somebody right off the bat so they have someone they can go to in confidence, and ask questions of. I'm that person at our office. For all of our interns, when they start off, they know that they have me, whether I'm in their department or not. So that's been really great, and I've been able to support our interns in endeavors even outside of their role at work. They, so creating that safe space to come ask questions is important as an employer. But as the intern, just remember, I said this on our last session, but I think it's important to remember that businesses, when they hire you on, they want you to succeed. So walk in with the confidence in knowing that, even if you're feeling a little unsure, people want you to be successful. They want you to thrive in this internship. They want this to be just as good as you want this to be, right? Because it's important on both sides. So that should be a little bit of a confidence booster walking in the door to know that people are going to be willing to give you the support you need. You just have to reach out.
Yeah.
So, but there is that mutual want for success.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too that one thing that interns should also know is that when an employer launches or continues an internship program, they are truly investing in their future workforce. They're not looking at it
Absolutely.
like, great, I'm bringing in someone who's going to be an individual, a strong individual contributor day one. Like that's not the expectation. But with that said, yes, the employer is committed to you, but I think that there's that mutual
Mhm.
responsibility.
Absolutely.
Right. But back to the employer for just a moment. I
Mhm.
do love that point about mentorship and that is so critical. And so having that safe sounding board for a student to say, hey, I don't really understand what's going on here, or there was something in a meeting that happened that I didn't quite catch the tone or something, whatever.
Mhm.
But just being able to have that person you can go to is so key. So love that you guys established that day one. So good deal. Let me see. My next question is, what does taking initiative look like for an intern? And we'd love to hear from both of you on this one too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably one of the biggest thing in an internship would be confidence. They don't know that you're nervous unless they see it. So I would just say if you can walk in and act like you know what you're doing, maybe not in like a cocky way, but just making sure that you've done like proper research. That way you can build that confidence and just I don't know. I feel like it's all in the way that you carry yourself. So I would just say probably like I guess confidence would be my biggest thing.
Something that I've loved from our interns, we have an incredible crew of interns right now, is they're always willing to say yes to any project, any scenario, in terms of different things that we bring them, even if it's not something that's like in their wheelhouse, they're excited to learn about it and take it on. So I think that's been really impressive. There's been moments where I've been like, do you want me to be a part of that, or do you think you can tackle that on your own on the get-go? And they're like, oh no, Merrick, I think that I can just run with this. And I'll come to you if I need something. And like to me, that is so exciting to see them that's taking initiative right there, taking ownership of the role that you're in, being excited to be challenged and try new things. So just saying yes to the challenges that arise has been really wonderful to see. And it's honestly been something that's very much impressed me about the interns that we've had. And when I go talk about our interns, which I'm like a huge fan of our interns, like fangirl over them, they're so great. But when I talk about them, that's one of the things that I'm like, they just are willing to just jump in on anything, and they have so much. They have so much initiative when it comes to the different projects, and I know that I can count on them when they say they're going to take something on, they deliver. And so that's another thing. If you're going to take the initiative, if you're going to say, yep, I'm going to do it, make sure that you deliver. And it's okay if you get partway through the project and you have a question. It's better that you bring that up now instead of getting to the point that it's due and you were lost the whole time or you didn't know what was going on. So if you're going to take the initiative, taking the initiative doesn't mean that you have to know everything up front. You can ask questions along the way. to make sure that you're doing it right and you're delivering a quality product at the end of the day, or a quality, I don't know what y'all are doing. It depends on the internship, but just making sure that whatever you're bringing to the table is quality at the end of the day, if you're going to take that initiative on.
Yeah, I love that. As you were talking about that too, I was thinking about something that came to mind and it just slipped my mind. So I'll come back to it if it comes back to me
Comes
before the
back,
end of the
please share the
conversation.
wisdom.
What's that?
I said, if it comes back, please share the wisdom.
Absolutely.
You know what? I just remembered. Hilarious.
Amazing.
Okay. So last week, last week I was meeting with a student who's interning at a large corporation in Omaha. And some of the advice she gave to her fellow students, future interns, was say yes to everything. And I was like, yes, saying yes is really good up front because it helps you develop a filter. And that's one of the things that I think is so critical about it, is it's not that you're just, you know, taking initiative and just trying things willy-nilly. You're doing it so that you can learn what you don't like, which I think is just as important as like saying, okay, I want to be you know, whatever the thing is. You have to try other things just to make sure, you know, I think that is really critical. So
1000%. Absolutely.
I'm glad that came back. That took a
Yes, that
minute.
was a great, that was a great bit of wisdom. I'm glad it came back to you. How can interns seek feedback without seeming insecure, and how should they use it to grow?
I would say, trying to seek feedback, it's not really like an insecurity thing. I would say it just it proves to your employer that you want to learn and you want to do better. You want to do everything you can to be the best in your internship. But then I just think asking questions, and those critical questions, is really important, because it just, like Shauna said, it helps you figure out what you like and what you don't like, and that's extremely important in an internship. So I would say, I think asking if they're in your department or not, people in your workplace, like, hey, I'm trying something, can you come see if I'm doing this right? Or, so I would say it's not really an insecurity thing, but more like just like a confidence builder. That way, if you're as a manufacturing intern, you can get that reassurance that you're actually doing something correct, and just saying, hey, can you double check this really fast? So I would just say, asking questions, whether or not you feel comfortable doing them behind closed doors or just asking the person right next to you. It just depends on what you feel comfortable with. But I think it's really important to help build credibility.
Yeah, feedback is important for sure.
Mhm.
I would agree that it's not an insecurity thing. The one thing that I will add is that like with my interns, I want them to be seeking feedback. I
Absolutely.
want to be having those conversations with them. It shows that they care about what they're doing. So I love it when my interns come around and ask those questions. But the other piece that I will say is, if you're going to be seeking feedback, be okay with receiving said feedback.
Absolutely.
It's more about, in my opinion, how you receive it, how you take it, how you use it. That's going to really showcase you as an employee, and a part of the team. Again, something that regularly impresses me about the intern that works specifically with me is she not only seeks out the feedback on a regular basis, asks me to check things, but then every time I provide the feedback, there's no hard feelings. It's very much a, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Merrick. I didn't see it that way. Or we have a conversation. It's not even always that I'm necessarily right. It opens up a door for conversation, which again, employers, be willing to have those conversations. You have to open up and sometimes recognize when you're working with an intern, maybe they are right in this idea, and a collaborative discussion is really healthy. So just opening up that window for like safe, healthy conversations, constructive criticism, to make sure that everybody's growing in the process is something I would add to that.
I love that. And that mentor role is so key in that from that perspective, because you have to know how to deliver feedback too. So it is one side 100% to not take it personally when you get feedback. I used to be like that, so I totally get it. But to grow beyond that, number one, but then as a mentor to be able to deliver it in a constructive way. So it's a balance for sure. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So regarding mentorship, when do you think is a good time to find a mentor? I know we kind of have talked about that throughout this conversation, but when is a good time, and then how should an intern approach
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. I think having a mentor from day one can be extremely beneficial, whether or not that be a coworker that works in your facility, or I know we have a board of directors. There's so many mentors on our board of directors that I know I could utilize at any point in time. But I just think having one from the beginning, that way, if you have questions in the beginning of the role or even towards the end, kind of like a what now sort of thing, once you're finished with the internship, I think that can be extremely important. But then it can also be the mentor can also be that person you go to if you have these questions that you're not quite ready to ask your boss or your supervisor. It can just be a great place to receive that feedback from as well, or they can help give you advice on how to approach your supervisor if you have these questions about your role too. So I think if you can have a mentor in the beginning, that would be great. But I think if you want to take this back to whoever hired you, I think if you can maybe ask them about possible mentors. I know there's plenty of businesses that have a list of mentors that they utilize within their facility. So just ask around because I think that can be extremely beneficial.
Um, I would add, thank you, Rylee. That was all awesome. The one piece I would also add to that is I think it depends on the type of mentorship that you're seeking at the time, because you can have internal mentorship at your employer, which is definitely important. And I think a lot of that is there's responsibility of the employer to help make sure that you have a mentor right off the bat, somebody that can support you. And as you go, you will build relationships and people will become your mentors naturally too, while you're in this space as you connect with different people. I don't, one of a piece of the question was how should you respectfully approach?
Mhm.
And people are often like honored by the ask to be a mentor.
Absolutely.
So I think just keeping that in mind, and when you approach being like, I've seen you do XYZ things, and those are kinds of things that I would like to emulate. I would like to do that as well, and I would like to lead the way that you do. Is it possible that you might mentor me? Those are the kinds of things that you can ask. But then also, as you're going, when I say outside of the organization, we've had some interns that have expressed interest in some different areas that I don't have the expertise in. And so I have reached out to my network as their mentor. I've reached out to my network and have added mentors to their docket in the spaces that they're really interested in that I couldn't answer the questions for or thoughtfully mentor them in. So I think that's really important as you get into the workplace, expressing the things that you're interested in, talking about the things you really want to learn how to do. And even if the person that you're working directly with, or even if the role that you're in doesn't expressly teach you those things, they might be able to find you somebody that can support you in the avenue that you're wanting to learn more about if they don't have that as a resource in their pocket themselves. So that's yeah, make sure that you are working with your internal mentor to make sure that you get every opportunity that you're seeking. Shauna, did you have anything to add?
No,
Okay, wanted to
that's some
make sure we're not
great
just running over
feedback.
you. Um, okay, so we're now kind of at the closing point of this process. So I'd love to hear any closing comments from you, Rylee,
Yeah,
just any general
absolutely.
thoughts that maybe you didn't get to share.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I didn't get to share. I think I just want to echo, the whole mentorship. I think that can be extremely important. But I also want to highlight networking. I know Merrick and Shauna, you both do a lot of networking in your roles, but I think being able to network and being able to know how to network is extremely important. So I think if there are any interns out there who want to get connected, contact your local chambers as well. I'm just going to put a plug in for us. We have many different networking events that we want to see these interns at. We want to get them in our community because we want to give them a reason to come back to our community when this internship is finished. So we want to open that door to them to know that they are invited and they can come to these different networking events. And then maybe they can start coming to our committee meetings and stuff when they come back to our community once this internship is finished, because that's always the goal.
Yeah. That's
Anything
good.
we can do to be as welcoming as possible. I know at our chamber, we do have different intern night events that we do. You don't even have to be a chamber member to attend these events. We truly want every intern in Columbus and the surrounding area to attend these events because we know how hard it is to come from a different town, let alone a different state for an internship. So that's just something that we like to do to get them to meet people their own age in our community, and the people who are there for the summer. We just want them to know that they have, we are mentors and we want other people to be their friends, but also mentors to them as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Rylee, before we, I know we have about what, 10 minutes? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, can you talk to us just a little bit about the new housing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this year we will able to partner with Central Community College Columbus campus that we have 9 dorms that we're using that we are able to have for intern housing. So this is the first time we've ever done something like this. So it's really exciting and we absolutely love this partnership. So the students get a set move out date and a set move in date. So all of our businesses have approved this, and so it kind of already matched with their summer internship, but they just kind of shifted it to match the housing requirements. But another rule that we had to follow, which I think is incredible, was you have to be a CCC student just for the summer. So you can take, if you wanted to get like your forklift certification, or if you wanted to take actual credit courses, you could take that as well. As long as you're continuing enrollment in some aspect, that was the only requirement. And then it is all funded by the employer. So the employer approved it, so it cost the intern absolutely nothing. And then another thing that we have on top of that is those Thursday night intern events that we do. So it was just kind of like, hey, come to this as often as possible. Like we want to get to know you sort of thing. But I think it's like really incredible that we were able to finally use this. And so all we can hope for is that we can grow the program and that we saw that there was a need for intern housing. And so we approached CCC and they were finally like, yes, let's absolutely do this. Let's use our residence halls for summer interns. They were really excited about it.
Love
That's
it.
awesome. What a creative way to help
Mhm.
support. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, and those partnerships are so critical too, just as, funding changes, all the things
Mhm.
are, it's always different, right? And so
Right.
anything that we can do to say, okay, we can be dependent on each other and build programs that are sustainable, I think that
Absolutely.
is really outstanding. Okay, really good. Well, I'm looking at the Q&A and I don't see any questions, but if anyone has questions, we have a few minutes while I do the wrap up comments. But this has been a great conversation, Rylee and Merrick, so thank you both. And I love the kind of free flowing of information as we're like, oh yeah, this is an important aspect of
Yeah.
this topic. So I love it. So for interns and employers actually who want to continue to connect to each other, we have 2 different resources that we like to recommend. But like Rylee said, always check out your local chambers of commerce, career services at your local college, all the professional development places, especially LinkedIn, I think are 3 favorite, one of our favorite places to build networks. But careerpathway.com is awesome and continuing to add new features, and findthewhy.org, both just 2 great resources for students who want to showcase their skills, connect to employers, and all of that. Anything else, Rylee or Merrick, you want to add to our closing?
I don't
I don't
think
think
so.
so. Thank you, Shauna,
Yes,
for
thank you,
getting this all
Shauna.
organized.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both for being here, and safe travels back home, Rylee. Merrick, have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend. Oh, really quick before we wrap up, Merrick, you have an announcement too. I saw on LinkedIn recently, speaking of LinkedIn, but your team at the Greater Omaha Chamber is
Yeah.
launching a new workforce initiative.
Yes, yes. So we've got there's always a lot going on. It's good stuff. So we've brought all of our workforce initiatives under one umbrella. So it's now being called our Workforce Excellence Team, which consists of myself, Jenny Kays, and Dell Nerid. And Dell is our leader under that umbrella. And it was our way to collectively and strategically put all of our workforce initiatives into one space so we could be just a lot more, I think strategic is the best word, about how we're helping talent across our community, how we're attracting talent to the community, instead of working in our own lanes, having us all come together to support one another. We did a lot of collaboration before, but I think that there's so much strength in the way that we're coming together in this workforce excellence team. So I'm really excited about it.
Good.
And Janique and Dell are incredible. So lucky to be on a team with them. So,
Good deal. Well, lots of exciting things happening. So I'll be keeping tabs and following up for sure. But
perfect.
thanks again to you both. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks to those who could join us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.